people, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today I'm going to show you how to make baklava. Well, hopefully I'm not saying that wrong. I think it's baklava. Baklava is one of my all-time favorite desserts. I'm a very sweet person. I'm pretty sweet, but I love sweet. I love dessert. I love anything that's sweet, to be honest. So I love baklava. I've tried some baklavas which are extremely sweet, and that is not the case for this one. I think it has the perfect amount of sweetness and the perfect amount of nuttiness, and it's just absolutely delicious. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you never made baklava before, it's a Middle Eastern dessert made with phyllo dough, some type of nut. Some people use walnuts, some people use pistachios. Those are like the most authentic or the most used. I like to do a combination of both walnuts and pistachios, and I think it's just absolutely delicious. Definitely a labor of love. It's not difficult. It is not difficult, but it does take a little bit of time. So with all of that being said, I'm going to show you the ingredients very quickly so we can go ahead and get started, because like I said, it's not difficult, but it does take a little, but it is a bit time consuming, so I don't want to be talking here forever. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to hear me talk forever and you want me to start with the recipe. So let's go ahead and do that. Like I said, this requires the most minimal ingredients ever. So you're going to need some pistachios and walnuts. You can do either or, but trust me, the combination from both is just absolutely sensational. So pistachios and walnuts, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon, and then for the syrup, you're going to need some sugar, water, honey, and juice of a lemon, and of course you're going to need a whole package, like a 16-ounce package of phyllo dough. You're going to need some melted butter. You're also going to need a 9x13 baking dish, a lint-free towel. I'm going to damp this towel because we have to cover the phyllo dough with a damp towel so it doesn't dry out, and then it's going to start breaking and it is a whole mess. So the first thing we want to do is make the syrup, because it does have to rest. It has to cool down before obviously we add it. I have a small saucepan here. I'm not even going to take you to the stove because this is pretty boring. You pretty much just add your sugar, you add the water, you're going to add your honey. So sugar, water, honey, and I get every bit of it out. And then you're going to need the juice of half a lemon, and this is a pretty big lemon, so I would say like a juice of half a medium lemon. Let me see how many. This is about 2 tablespoons apparently, so you're gonna need about that much. So I'm going to add it right in there, and then the lemon is going to make a really nice contrast between the sweetness. It's going to cut out the sweetness a little bit, and it's not going to be overly sweet, which is perfect. I'm looking for a whisk. Okay, so what I'm going to do is whisk this whole thing together, and now I'm going to put this on the stove on medium heat. I'm going to let the sugar melt completely, and you want the mixture to come to a boil, and you want the consistency kind of a maple syrup consistency, if that makes any sense. But I'm just gonna let this boil so we can go ahead and continue to the next step. Okay, so the next step is to chop our nut. I'm going to do this in my food processor here. I'm using roasted and salted walnuts and roasted salted pistachios because I was only able to find salted pistachios. Oh my God, I'm making a mess. Try not to be like me and make a mess. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to add half the mixture. Now I'm going to mix together my sugar and cinnamon, and so I'm going to add the sugar right in the middle, and then I add the rest of the nuts, just like so. We are going to give a pulse, and this next step is going to depend on you and how chopped you want your nuts. I like mine's pretty finely chopped, but I do want to have a bit of larger pieces in there, but obviously it depends on you and what you like. So I'm just going to pause this so it gets to the right consistency. I have a few pieces here that are larger than other, and that's exactly how I like it. Like I said, you can do yours if you want yours to be a bit smaller. go ahead and chop them a bit smaller. If you want yours a bit bigger, go ahead and do it that way. This is just how I personally like it. And now the fun part. So I have my phyllo dough here. And you want to be very gentle with it because phyllo dough is quite sensitive, you could say. And make sure you thaw it out according to the package instructions. Otherwise, it's going to be obviously impossible to roll and it's going to break and it's going to be a mess. Okay, so I have my damp towel here. The first thing we're gonna do is brush our baking sheet here with a little bit of melted butter. We're going to get a phyllo sheet. You have to be, like I said, very, very gentle because these things break like it's nobody's business. Okay, that looks beautiful. And now, this is a process that's a little tedious. You have to repeat this same process of butter, phyllo dough, like a phyllo sheet, butter, phyllo sheet again for 10 times. So the bottom part, this has a tons of layers. So the bottom part, it's gonna be 10 phyllo sheet with obviously butter in between. We're going to add about 3/4 cups of the nut mixture. Then we're going to do the same process again of butter, phyllo dough, butter, phyllo sheet four times. And we're going to do 5 layers of 4, if that makes any sense. And then obviously the final one, it's gonna be again 10 layers. So you got 10 layers on the bottom, 5 layers of 4, and then the last one is obviously with nut in between those 5 layers, and then the final one is going to be 10 layers. Obviously in the written recipe on my website, anitas.recipes.com, you will find exactly the right amount of phyllo sheets that you have to put. So I have to work very quickly. I'm going to go ahead, do butter. Then I'm going to grab another sheet and I'm going to layer it on top of the other one. Okay, and then we're going to do butter again. And you just want to repeat this process. My syrup, it's already done, so it came to a boil. I turned it off. Make sure it's kind of like maple syrup consistency, like I said, and then you're going to be good to go. So let me finish this so I can show you the next step. This is my last layer. So I have, like I said, 10 layers on the bottom. I'm going to add 3/4 cups of my nut mixture, and you want to obviously spread this as evenly as possible. Okay, so now we go back with our phyllo sheet, and this part is going to be a bit annoying because it's going to be a little more difficult to spread the butter. So you kind of just want to tap the butter, otherwise the sheet is going to go everywhere to cover so it doesn't dry out. Okay, and then we add our nut mixture. We spread it all over with our hands. And now it's also a good time to start preheating your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to do that so we can start preheating. Okay, I am back with my last phyllo sheet. And I'm just going to make sure I butter it very well, this last piece, because that is going to get very nice and golden brown and crispy and just delicious. So I'll make sure I butter it very, very well. Okay, that looks good enough. And now the fun part, we have to cut it. I know some people like to cut it in squares. They want to do like, some people like to do some sort of design. I'm not very good at designing, so I like to do a very simple diamond square. So I'm going to go down. Remember, there's a lot of nuts and sheets in here, so you want to make sure that you go down and you press very, very well. Okay, so you want to cut straight down. So as you can see, that's what it looks like now. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut diagonally so I can make some sort of little diamond shape situation here. Press down if you need to. And I find that the easiest way to do this is pretty much with the tip of your knife. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. So you can get a very nice cut without dragging the whole thing with you as you cut. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. We have some sort of a diamond shape looking thing. I tried my best and that's what matters. My baklava, it's going to go into our preheated oven for about 45 to 50 minutes until the top is nice and golden brown and absolutely delicious. After it comes out, we want to pour that syrup that we made earlier on. I am back and I honestly can't contain my excitement because this baklava looks so beautiful. Look at that golden color. Look at that golden color. You just can't tell me that this doesn't look absolutely beautiful. Baklava literally just came out of the oven. I have my cold honey sugar, what did I say this was? Syrup? Yeah, syrup. I can't think. That's how excited I am that I can't think. So you can either pour it on. I like to do it with a spoon because I like to have a little more control over it. So what I'm gonna do is just going to pour this all over it with my spoon, and that pan is still so hot that you should be able to hear a sizzle. Okay, that's it. Okay, now the part that's again not so fun. You need to let this rest for about, I would say 4 to 6 hours. I know it sounds crazy, but you really want the layers, the phyllo dough, to absorb all of that beautiful syrup, because right now it's just kind of like all in there. And then if you let it absorb, if you let it rest for a few hours at room temperature, make sure you do this at room temperature, the syrup is going to in between those layers and it's just going to be absolutely delicious. Of course, I don't have 6 hours to wait, so I am going to get a little piece right now so I can try it. But you do want to let it rest. So what I like to do is to cover with a lint-free towel, kitchen towel, and then I just let it rest for 6, 8, 10 hours overnight, however long. And this tastes very good, nice and delicious for about 3 days. You can put it in the fridge if you like. I never really put mine in the fridge and it doesn't really go bad. So obviously that just depends on you. But I am eyeing my little piece, the little piece that I want. I think I want this one. Which one should I get? I think I want this one right here. Let me get a knife so I can cut into it. Oh God, it is steaming. I feel like I'm gonna burn myself. I'm gonna burn my face off. But let's see. This is like a sweet dream come to life. It is so good. I want you to see all the layers. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see all the beautiful layers on this baklava. It is completely insane. Beautiful layers on this baklava. It is divine. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's really, really crispy, and that should sound like. As you saw, it is very simple to make, a little time consuming, but very simple, especially since we are using store-bought phyllo dough. I've never tried to make phyllo dough. I don't think you ever will. If you or in your family you make phyllo dough from scratch, props to you for doing that, because it really is quite hard to make. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found this quite delicious. Like I said, it's not too overly sweet, which I've tried baklava that's just too sweet and I really can do it. This one is just perfect. It's crispy. It has the right amount of sweetness. It has the right amount of nuts. It's just absolutely sensational, and I know you will love it as much as I do. So that is it for today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.